I hope it fits, otherwise I've just wasted 360 quid on a boot lid. Right fellas, welcome back. Welcome back to another video on the Cooper S. So as mentioned in my last video, I am going to be removing the boot lamp which is on the boot. Now some people really like it, some people don't like it, say it look better without. I'm in the mindset where I think it's cool, but I think I want the opportunity to put the car back exactly how it should be. But on the other hand, I do really like the cafe racer look. So I've thought long and hard about I'm going to do this. Now what I've decided to do, instead of taking that boot lamp off, welding up the hole and then getting it sprayed, I've decided that I'm just going to replace the whole thing. So what I've done is I have picked up a new Heritage boot panel to change that with. Now there's a couple of reasons for this. One reason is I don't want the original boot lid having a patch welded in it and then skimmed over. It's just, I know for a fact that'll just bug me because the rest of the car's not got any patches in it, and me knowing that that's been patched and bodged will just eat away at me. So like I said, that's why I've gone for the Heritage one, because I just think it'll be a much better job to have a complete new boot lid. Also, the other reason is, what I don't want to happen is take that boot lamp off, weld the hole up and then struggle to match the paint and then end up having the back of the car resprayed. So my thought process is, if I was to buy this boot lid, get it painted, obviously I'm going to trial fit it to the car before I send it off for paint. So get this trial fitted up, make sure it all fits, and then worst case scenario, if this boot lid comes back and it doesn't match the paint, I've not opened up a huge can of worms for myself by buzzing all the paint off that old one and then ended up having to take the car somewhere to the body shop to have the back of the car blended in, maybe even the rear quarters. I don't know how it works. So the guy who's going to be painting this boot lid for me is the chap who actually sprayed the car in early 2019. So I've been speaking to him on Facebook, and he was like, yeah, we'll be able to sort it out, no messing, just bring the bits and bobs to me and I'll get it sorted for you. So yeah, this is what I've decided to do. Also, having two boot lids gives me the opportunity to either have the car looking completely standard, or to put the rose petals on it, put the different wheel in it, and I can switch things up rather than being restricted to just having the car exactly the same. So it might seem a bit extreme just going buying a new boot lid. It is a Heritage boot lid as well. I wasn't going to go down the routes of Magnum or anything like that. I just thought if I get the Heritage boot lid, chances are it's going to fit, but we shall see how well this fits today when I start fitting it. So all that I need to do with this boot lid is I'm going to put it on. I'm not going to fit the rubber seal to it because the clips that I've got, you only really use them once. I spoke to Mini Spares about it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fit it to the car, make sure all the panel gaps are all right. I'm going to drill out as well for obviously the badging. So I've got the Austin Cooper and the S badge. I've got brand new badges as well. So literally, when this boot lid's finished, it's going to be literally a case of swapping it over. And the only thing I'm going to have to change is the registration plate, because I've got a new number plate bracket, I've got the hinges, and I've got all the relevant hardware as well to fix it back onto the car. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this little project. So in this video, I'm going to get it all prepped up, get it on the car, and then get it sent off for paint. And then hopefully in a couple of weeks from now, I can fit it back on once it's all nice and shiny, and then it'll be on to something else then. So right, let's get this fitted up, and let's actually see if a Heritage boot lid is worth the money. Right, okay, so I'm not going to bore you to tears and film this in real time. So, got my screwdriver, got my magnetic screw fixing tray so I don't lose anything for when I come to reinstall the new one. So, cue the montage. I forgot to disconnect that. Well, I'd call that a success. I was nervous as anything taking that off, but yeah, I managed to get the boot lid off without scratching anything. One of my nuts has come out the hinge there. God knows what the crack is with that, so I'll have a look at that. If not, I'll have to buy a new hinge, or I'll buy 2 new hinges and get them sprayed up as well whilst the boot lid goes off to the painters. Oh, by the way, I had a change of plan, so I was going to take these Austin Cooper S badges off, but these plastic things are an absolute nightmare to get off. I've tried getting one off for about 5 minutes and it wasn't working, so I've looked at it from the back and I'll be able to get the measurements from the front working off the new badges as well, so they're going to stay on. But right, let's get this new boot lid fitted and let's see how good Heritage panels actually are. Right, okay, so it's the moment of truth. Let's see if this thing fits. I hope it fits, otherwise I've just wasted 360 quid on a boot lid. This side now. As soon as I've got these on, it's not going to go anywhere. I tell you what, that is not bad. What I think I'm going to do is slide it over to the right a little bit. I don't know how much adjustment I've got on these hinges. Right, I'm going to mess around with this for a bit and I'll come back to you. Right, so we have success. I'm super happy with that. So when I shut this boot now, I've got an absolutely, I won't say perfect because they were never perfect anyway, but the gap along this side here is exactly the same as that. There is a little bit of a difference as it goes around this corner. It does get a little bit tight on that far end, but I've been and had a look at my Mayfair in the other garage, which, if you've seen that car before, it's completely standard, or completely original, sorry. It's never been messed around with, and that is exactly the same. So I don't think I'm going to go to the effort of trying to shape that. I mean, they weren't perfect from factory, but I'm not using it as an excuse to leave it. I want it to be how it should be, and my guessing is that on those edges, it's a shame I've not got another Saloon Mini to look at, but I think going off that red Mayfair will be a good kind of visual to actually see how it should fit. But yeah, like I say, the sides here are absolutely identical as you run your fingers up, and even when you get to the top, the gaps around the top corners of the boot lid are exactly the same. The gap along the bottom, again, is completely perfect. So what I ended up doing was, when the two boot skins have been formed together, the outer skin and the inner skin, they wasn't completely flush with each other. I'll overlay a shot now. So basically, if you can see, the two skins don't line up, and the skin that was obviously further kind of across the hole, it wasn't allowing me to get the whole boot lid and slide it to the right like it needed to be. So what I did is I got a Dremel and I literally just took off the excess on the inside. I didn't really need to make the holes any larger from the front. It was literally just cleaning up the hole so they was exactly the same size as what they should be. Pop the boot lid back on and it is absolutely perfect. So if anyone's thinking about buying a Heritage boot lid, I think that's a relatively small adjustment I had to make it fit absolutely perfect. So yeah, super happy with that. I've also run some masking tape along the front there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and take some measurements off the existing boot lid, and I've also got a John Parnell restoration book, which is basically like the Bible for Cooper S restoration and Coopers. And then what I'll do is I'll explain to you why the badge is actually slightly offset to the right. So I've got some brand new badges as well, which I can use as a reference. So I'll get the badges on, get the registration plate fitted, and then I think we should be cooking on gas then to send this off to the painters, get it painted, and then get it all fitted up once it's all been sprayed up and made to look pretty. So right, I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll catch you when it's finished. Right, okay, so that is the boot lid all dry fitted to the car and ready for paint. Super happy with those badges as well. Also, just touching on the badges as well, if anyone's got a Cooper S who's watching these videos, or a Cooper, I'd highly recommend getting the original Mini Cooper and Cooper S book by John Parnell. It literally goes into every single detail about the cars as well, even down to the reason why the badging is off centre. So the S badge isn't symmetrical with the boot. So as you look at this boot, the Austin and the Cooper badge is symmetrical, but because the S was an add-on, that's why the whole Austin Cooper S looks like it's further over to the right hand side of the boot. But again, that is exactly the way it should be. So like I say, anyone who's got a Cooper S or a Cooper, definitely get one of them. But yeah, super happy with that. One thing I did have to mess around with on the number plate bracket was actually just Dremel out these brackets a little bit to get the holes to line up with the threads within the boot lid. But apart from that, I'm super happy with that. I just hope and pray that the paint match is going to be absolutely perfect, because I really don't want to start blending in the back of the car. The painter that I'm going to, again, he's got great confidence in what he's doing, so fingers crossed it'll literally just be a case of getting this built back up, throwing it on the car. I'm in two minds whether to get this powder coated or get it sprayed. I'll decide by sort of middle of this week before it goes to the painter. The only thing I'm conscious with powder coating is just these screw hole threads, because I've got a real tight tolerance getting it into the boot skin, so powder coating leaves quite a thick surface. So, or whether I get these painted black and get this powder coated, but then again, it makes no sense to have two people doing the job. I just have someone do it all together. But yeah, that's all I've got time for this week. So like I say, join me next time when I get this fitted back up to the car, and fingers crossed the paint matches. But I say, if anyone's got any questions, as always, get in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So take it easy, guys, and stay safe.